I'm a little bit late to the party, but here it is, my review on the new Lattafa Teriaq Intense. What's up guys? Welcome to today's video. I'm the Frag Stop. If you're new here, we talk about all things fragrances, and today I want to talk a little bit more in depth and give a proper review on this new Lattafa fragrance, Lattafa Teriaq Intense. And before we start talking about this amazing fragrance, I just want to talk about the perfumer behind this fragrance. The perfumer of this fragrance is none other than the great Quentin Biche. This guy is one of the greats in the perfume industry. He's made a lot of fantastic fragrances. Other than this one, I have two other fragrances from him. I have Bois Imperial by Essential Parfums and Ex Nihilo's Fleur Narcotique, both perfumed by Quentin Biche, both fragrances that I truly love and are a testament to how great of a perfumer he is. He truly has a lot of range, from making very clean, very simple fragrances to very sweet, very gourmand, boozy fragrances like this one. And I also wanted to take a moment to appreciate that Lattafa, a Middle Eastern house that's famous for cloning fragrances, is now taking the steps to start making their own fragrances by hiring some of these amazing perfumers to create their own creations and releasing new fragrances for us to enjoy. And I think this is a step in the right direction for Lattafa. I think this unlocks a whole new world for us fragrance nerds, for us fragrance enthusiasts, by providing us a whole new set of new fragrances, new unique fragrances that have been perfumed by master perfumers for a very affordable price range. But now let's talk about what you're all here for, Lattafa's Teriaq Intense. I'm going to put the notes somewhere on the screen, but I'm also going to list them out for you guys. So the top notes of this fragrance are saffron and bergamot. The middle notes are plum liquor and cinnamon. And the base notes are amber, tonka bean, and benzoin. But let's forget the notes for a second. What does this actually smell like? So I'm gonna give it a couple sprays on my arm. I've already worn this fragrance a couple times before making this review, just so that I could get a feel for it and know what I want to talk to you guys about, as well as test the performance and longevity of this fragrance. The opening is surprisingly very airy. It's not a dense fragrance like Grand Soir, for example. It's very airy. It's definitely still sweet. It's definitely still a gourmand. I pick up on that cinnamon, that vanilla right off the bat. I also pick up on a different note, a note that I couldn't really isolate. I didn't really know what it was when I first smelled it. And it was honestly really hard to isolate because this thing was surprisingly very well blended. And after digging around and reading some reviews online, I found out that this note that I really like and just am so addicted to was actually the plum liquor, which is very surprising because it is a middle note, but I detect it right off the bat. It adds sort of a fruity freshness to the sweetness, which I think really balances out the opening of this fragrance. And because of how good and addicting this plum note was, I actually started looking for other fragrances that have the plum note, because if this is what plum is like, then sign me up as a plum lover. This stuff smells so good. And as this fragrance starts to dry down, a lot of the booziness you get in the opening starts to go away, and this becomes more of a gourmand fragrance. And honestly, the dry down of this fragrance reminded me a lot of another Lattafa fragrance, Lattafa's Khamra, which is a fragrance that I really love. Now, this isn't identical to that fragrance, but it's very similar, it's very reminiscent. I think this one is a tad bit sweeter, and this one is a lot more well blended, a lot smoother than Lattafa Khamra. And like I said, this one to me is a lot less sweet than Khamra. I think Khamra is a beautiful fragrance, and I love the date note in that fragrance, but the combination of date with vanilla with cinnamon just is a little bit too sweet for my taste. It's a little bit cloying at times. This one doesn't have that date note. I think it's very more well balanced, if that makes sense. It's more well balanced, it's more easy to wear, it's more versatile, and I think it's a lot more wearable. And after that point, the fragrance remains linear. It remains a gourmand fragrance. That plum liquor is still detectable, but that combination of amber and vanilla keep this fragrance as a gourmand, a sweet fragrance that smells really good. Another thing I wanted to bring up was that I thought this fragrance would be a very feminine leaning fragrance, because the original Teriaq was a feminine fragrance. It was meant for females, but this new intense version, I would say, is 100% unisex. You're able to pull it off as a man, you're able to pull it off as a woman. There is nothing in here that makes me think, okay, this is very feminine. I think it's very well balanced for and suits both men and women. And now let's talk about the performance of this fragrance, the longevity, the projection. I was hearing a lot of things. I was hearing mixed reviews. Some people saying it lasts, some people saying it doesn't. I have found that this fragrance lasts a really, really long time. I was spraying this stuff before going out and coming home and sitting in bed, and all I could smell is this. It's insane how strong this fragrance actually is, how long it actually lasts. The projection is really good. It's nothing too much, nothing that will suffocate you, but it creates like a nice scent bubble around you. And in terms of longevity, yeah, like I said, I was smelling this stuff all night long. I even smelled it on my clothes the next day, so it definitely does really well in this department. And so overall, I'd give this fragrance a solid 8.5 out of 10. I think if you love fragrances like Khamra, if you love fragrances like Angel Share or Zemaya's Sharaf blend, which are all fragrances that fit that boozy gourmand niche, you're going to really love this fragrance. This fragrance is also very affordable relative to those niche fragrances that exceed $200 a bottle. This stuff you could get it for $40 from discounters. And for the price, I think it offers tremendous value. Again, I stand behind this idea of these clone or Middle Eastern houses like Lattafa making their own unique fragrances. And I think this is a nice stepping stone. I really like this fragrance, and it's definitely something that I'm going to be wearing a lot this winter time. So if you are looking for a budget winter fragrance, then check this one out. This isn't a promotion by any means. I paid my own money for this fragrance. I just really like it. So if you want a cheap budget gourmand fragrance for the winter time that smells amazing, I think this is definitely very mass appealing and will get you compliments, then check out Teriaq Intense. And that's all for today's video. Let me know what you guys think of this review. Let me know what you think of this fragrance. And let me know if you are a fan of these long, very wordy fragrance reviews. And if you'd like me to do a review on any of the fragrances on my desk or setup here, let me know. And as always, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.